Rich with amyrich.net here for project number 7 in the 12 projects of Christmas 2022. There are so many fun things we're going to do for project number 7, and we're going to start with some adhesive sheets. So in our annual catalog, we have an adhesive section. This is not in there. So you'll have to go to page 157 to where the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine products are. It's up here, number 10 in the upper right hand corner. So I have cut a piece of that measures 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. And we're going to use that in just a second. But I wanted to point that out because it's a super handy thing that some people don't notice in the catalog. So I wanted to be sure to bring that out and show you. The designer series paper that we are using today comes from the mini catalog on page 25. It's called The Boughs of Holly, and it has some beautiful designs in all different reds and greens. And some of them are listed across the bottom, but it is such a gorgeous paper. I had to make use of it in one of these projects. Let's take a quick look at the 6 sheets. Here is one of them. You can see the small poinsettias all bunched up in there. And then the back is like a variegated polka dot, which is so fun. And I love the reds in there. The next one is another poinsettia with that variegation on the back without the dots. Here's one that has a lot of greenery and then the berries in it as well. And I love the back to this one of my favorites. This one is super pretty. We're using just a small piece of it in our card today. And the back side is really interesting. We're using some of this as well. These poinsettias can easily be fussy cut and used on a card or a gift package. And I love that birchy look on the back side. And then here's some trees, perfect for anything, not just Christmas. That I love. And then that, I'm calling it variegated. I don't know if that's the right word, but that variegated greenery there in the background. So we're using one piece that measures 1/2 inch by 5 1/4. And we are going to add this to a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. So let's just do that right away because that will just be done then. This is going to be for the inside of our card. So we're just going to put that down the side like that. Next, we're going to grab a piece of Mossy Meadow that is cut 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. And that will be our card base. So let's grab this and adhere it in the center. Now you can decide, you can put the strip on the left or on the right. For this one, I'm choosing left. All right, so there's the inside. Got to dress that up a little sometimes too. Now for the outside, we're going to work with that piece of adhesive sheet that we cut earlier. And I am going to adhere that onto a piece of 3 1/2 by 3 1/2 old olive cardstock. So here I'm going to add, I'm going to leave a little border because I left, I gave some space around the edges, and then we'll just match this up and let that go. So then here we have our piece like this. Now we're going to grab our trimmer and I'm going to score this in half both directions. So 3 1/2 inch square, half of that is 1 3/4. So I'm going to score and then 1 3/4 the other direction and score again. Then I will peel the backing off of these papers, and you can still see the score lines, and that's a good thing. So here we've got our score lines, just like we left them. And I have cut this tiny piece of the DSP using the Stylish Shapes dies, the very smallest square. And we're going to put the corners so that they line up on all of these scored lines. And see how now it is just adhered and it's utterly perfect. Then we're going to take 4 different strips, and you can see them here, of the DSP that measure a 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And there are 4 of each, so 16 total. And we're going to start adhering them to our square, and we want them right next to our square. So we're going to add this one here like that. We're going to make sure that's adhered, which is why the adhesive sheet is nice. And then we're going to work our way around. So we're going to turn and do the same thing here. And turn again. And make sure they're right up against each other and adhered all the way to the end of the square. We're going to do the same thing now, working our way around with the stripe. I must have had adhesive on my fingernails. So we're making a quilt pattern, and we're going to keep going next with our little poinsettias. And actually, I kind of want the centers. Let's see if it peels off. Oh, it did. That's good. I kind of want some of those centers in there to mesh with the green next to it. And then we're going to end with these fabulous, oops, I have 1 more of these to go. That was close. And then we're going to end with these, to me it looks like red and green camouflage. It's an interesting look. All right, so we'll just go all the way around. And these should just finish off those sections really well. All right, and then turning it to the back, now we're going to trim these off. All right, so there we go. It's looking pretty good, but to give it the real quilted look, we're going to run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine using the Gingham embossing folder. So we'll stick the embossing folder in, or the paper into the embossing folder, and then run it through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine using plate 1 and then 2 of the 3s. So then it's got that really cool quilted look and feel to it. Next up, we are going to use our Scallop Contours dies. And I cut a couple of those. You can see the smallest one here I cut in Poppy Parade. And then this one I've cut in Old Olive, but we're not done with this yet because we want the Old Olive one to just nicely border our quilt square. So let me raise you up here a bit. And I'm going to bring in my machine for this one. And we're going to make sure to put plate 2 back in place underneath that cutting plate. Then we're going to take what we've already cut out and then the same exact die. And we're going to come to the 4th scallop. This is the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And we're going to line up the ends in that 4th scallop. Now you want to make sure it's good to go. So you flip it over and make sure it's all lined up there. And then when you're confident it is, go ahead and put that on your cutting plate and run it through one more time. And this time, you don't have to run it all the way through, but I'm going to. You could go back and then forth again, but this works pretty well. So now I will reveal the new fabulous look. And after I poke all these out, you can see that it's got the same look, and I've just made that with the same die by shifting it down. I think that is so cool. All right, so now we can bring in our quilt square and adhere that to that really cool new scallop square. And now we've got those really amazing edges. And that square fits right into place. Love it. Now remember our card base. Don't want to put it on upside down. We are going to add some old olive ribbon. And it comes in a pack with the SAHARA sand. And I love the feel of it. And I love the look of it. And you know what else I love? Green. And for this one, we're combining a couple of the greens together that maybe normally would be a no-no. We're totally calling it a yes for this one. So I'm going to wrap around my 16 inches of twine or ribbon. And then I'm just going to tie it in a knot down here at the bottom of my card. I'm all thumbs. There we go. That'll work. And then we're going to shift that over just a little bit. And we're going to pop up our quilt square right up here like this. So grabbing our dimensionals, we are not going to be stingy. And we'll add that. You can kind of look at that square in the middle to see how you want it. There isn't really a right way or a wrong way to that paper, but cute. And then I'll trim down these ribbons a little bit further. And then to finish it off, we need a sentiment. So I'm going to adhere this Poppy Parade scallop down here in the corner. And then on our Stylish Shapes die, I'm going to bring you down a little bit. I took you up for the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now I'll bring you back down. And the Peaceful Deer stamp set has this amazing little Merry Christmas. So that's what we're going to use. And we'll grab Poppy Parade ink. And we'll stamp that Merry Christmas right on our little banner. Following that up, of course, with some Stampin' Dimensionals. I love Christmas projects more than anything else. And I am just so excited to be sharing these 12 projects of Christmas with you again. I just want to thank you for watching. I think it's so much fun. Make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss a new video. You'll be so happy that you signed up for those subscriptions so that you're notified every time I post a video. So that's it. That's all I'm going to do on this one. It is super cute to have our amazing quilt square there. And you know what I was thinking just now? You could put that ribbon right through those scallops if you wanted to. That would look cute. But for now, I guess I'll leave it. And thank you again for watching. So I will see you next time for project number 8. I look forward to it.